the hardest questions are where do you want to eat tonight or what should we do this weekend? There's a website for that, highlighting all things Rochester from fashion to festivals and events, and of course, food and drinks. Amy Riposo is the owner and events director at Rochester A-List. And Casey Bowker, aka the ROConnoisseur, is your favorite foodie friend, ready to help you find your next great meal. It's a pleasure to have you guys on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Amy, for those who have not yet discovered the Rochester A-List, what's it all about? When did it get started?
Well, we started the company 10 years ago, and we wanted to connect people to the best of Rochester, and focusing on the things that they do for social and entertainment reasons, so fashion, beauty, dining, and entertainment.
It's the website.
It's a website. We communicate with people through the website, social media, and we have an insider, a VIP insider email list.
And Casey, how did you get paired with Amy?
You know, social media, I think we kind of found each other that way, and I reached out to her when I came up with the idea for the show, and that was earlier this year, and then once we met, we really just hit it off. We think alike.
Yeah.
And when you say the show, what exactly are you talking about?
So the ROConnoisseur is a foodie's guide to local eats. We do behind the scenes at wineries, breweries, restaurants, and everything in between, and kind of get an idea of what's unique to that place. Yeah.
And Amy, why is this a good fit for the A-List?
Well, I think a much more interesting way to find out about where to go and the great places to be in Rochester is to watch them and see them in a video series. And people are finding their information online more and more. So I saw Casey's trailer for the show. It's a 30-second trailer, and I knew I wanted to know more, and I thought Rochester would want to know more too. And I just think it's a great way for us to connect people to those businesses in a fun and engaging way.
Definitely a fun trailer, and you sent it to us as well. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that?
Awesome.
My name is Casey Bowker. I'm a traveler, I'm a geek, and I have a big appetite for fine beverages and great food. Follow my adventures as the ROConnoisseur as I let you know where to go for that next amazing meal that's right in your own backyard.
Casey, that's so well done.
Thank you.
So fun, so much energy. How did you come up with the idea for ROConnoisseur?
You know, I'm a big Food Network guy, and watching Guy Fieri and Bobby Flay and everything like that, I thought, I like to eat, and I would like to share that with Rochester and, you know, the surrounding areas. So I noticed that there was nothing like it around, and I have a food and television degree from UB, and I really wanted to use that, you know, skill set, and I said, okay, I'm going to try it, and here we are.
Putting it all together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why is this partnership so dynamic?
Well, I think we have a shared passion for food and connecting people to that food and sharing that story.
Right.
And we laugh, we have fun while we're
So
doing
finish
the
each
show.
other's sandwiches?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. What are some of the other events that the A-List puts on?
We organize all kinds of things, and usually we're connecting people to businesses that we're recommending. So tasting events, food tours, food crawls, pairing events, pop-up dinners, all kinds of things that are, you know, just highlighting different businesses.
It really seems like in the last 10 years, Rochester's seen a lot of new restaurants open, food trucks wildly popular.
Yeah.
In your opinion, are there any flavors that Rochester is missing, things that you hope to see come in?
You know, I actually posted this on Instagram recently, you know, what is someone's favorite, like, Chinese food place? And there was a lot of differing, like, opinions of it, but I haven't found a really great, like, standby Chinese food place as well as seafood. I think seafood is something that Rochester could really benefit from. You know, I know there's a new place called Swilly's, from the guys who make Swill Burger, and I heard that's really good, so I haven't tried it yet. Maybe that's going to be my go-to seafood place, but Chinese and seafood would be up in my list of what I want to see. Yeah.
Amy, when you have friends come into town and you already know what the best of the best is, what are the top, you know, 5 places that you need to take them to?
Well, that's a difficult question because I guess it depends
Or maybe
on
just
your,
some of
on
your favorites.
mood. I really would hate to say because there's just so many. So I would
Right.
hate to narrow it down to 5. You
How
know,
about places to see?
places to see?
I know I like to take people to the High Falls. It's like, who has
Yes.
a waterfall
High Falls is
downtown?
definitely one of Rochester's gems. It's an incredibly beautiful area that a lot of people who have, we take it for, for
We do.
advantage.
We do. What are some of the businesses or places that A-List has spotlighted recently?
We had a pop-up dinner at Two Vine. It was a taste of Tuscany. That was great. Jerry Serafine always does a great job with his restaurant. And
beer and donut.
yeah, we
Love
teamed
it.
up with Sip and Savor Rochester, a local food blogger, and we had a donut and beer pairing and a donut and waffle pairing at 2
Very
different
fun.
breweries.
When someone, what do people say when they hear about what you're doing? Your first show has launched on YouTube. What's their reaction?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I think we've reached a niche that hasn't been around in the Rochester area. There's a lot of different, ways to connect to food here in Rochester, usually via a food blogger. And I wanted to do a hosted program. I wanted to go in. Hopefully, people trust me enough to say, yeah, I like what Casey's doing, and I think I like his food. So I think the reason why it's been so positive is that people want somebody to take them on that journey and learn the stories behind their food that they're eating or drinks that they're drinking.
And Amy, when someone discovers the list for the first time or comes to one of the events, what's their reaction to you?
I think because A-List is such a broad company that we're doing so many different things, those reactions are always different. It's all ages, which is kind of a unique thing. People primarily of working age, but that can be from the early 20s to retirement age. So those different people are connected to different types of things that interest them, but there's always something for everyone.
Sure. Is there any certain demographic that you'd like to connect with more?
Really just, I guess, anyone who's interested in the best of everything. We hope that they know about the A-List.
Casey, I have to ask you, what's your favorite dish, favorite restaurant in Rochester?
So I'm going to actually reverse that on you. I want to know your favorite dish. My job is to actually take people behind the scenes and go to these places. So I'm interested in your reaction.
Okay, so I have to say that my own kitchen
Yeah.
is my favorite. And
Yeah.
you mentioned Asian restaurants,
Yeah.
both Chinese and Japanese. So I have little, certain recipes from my grandma or grandpa
Yeah.
that I like to make. And so when I go to a restaurant and have a certain dish, so say gyoza or something like that, I'm always like, oh, mine is better.
Yeah.
So I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
Do you stay in the Rochester area, or are we talking about, or do you cover all of Western New York?
So right now, this first season that's launching on YouTube is Rochester and the Finger Lakes area.
Okay.
We hope to expand it from there. I'm sure that people in Syracuse and Buffalo and maybe even Canada, would be interested as well. There's none of those shows around there either. So right now we're really keeping things Rochester. There's so many different offerings around the area. I think we're going to be here for a long time.
What sort of feedback do you hear from people outside of the Rochester area?
Why don't you do this in Buffalo? Yeah, or you know what I mean? Will you come to my place? My mother-in-law in Toronto was like, you should come to Toronto and come to their restaurants. And I said, maybe I will. I'm never going to turn down food. So yeah, absolutely.
Amy, where do you hope to see the A-List in 5 years from now?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I feel like the company, the show, the company, we're creative, so we kind of go with how things are changing. So sometimes it's good to have an idea of where you want to go, but also bending with how things change. And with the ROConnoisseur show, that could go in a million different directions. So it'd be interesting to see which ones we focus on. We have a lot of ideas. We're not going to run out of ideas. That's for sure.
Right. And Amy, you're from Syracuse area,
Yes.
and Casey, you're from the Buffalo area. When you think about Rochester and arts and culture and events and things to do, how do we compare to other cities of our size? How do you think we do?
I think Rochester does a fantastic job. That's actually one of the reasons that I was drawn to the area. Having a film degree, you have the George Eastman House, you have a really big cinematic place here. I mean, we just shot a Spider-Man movie here last year, and even in Buffalo there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So, I mean, this area, Rochester, is teeming with arts and culture, and they're clearly tapped into a food scene that I haven't seen outside of any place else, and I think that they're just continuing to grow every year. New restaurants, new movies, new experiences are here to be had. I love it.
How about you, Amy?
Absolutely. It's definitely been growing in the last 10 years. So I would say when I first started Rochester A-List, one of the motivators was to help make going out more fun, because there really wasn't a lot of great restaurants, a lot of interesting things to do, and now it's a challenge just to keep up. There's tons of events every day, every weekend, from all seasons, year round. So it's definitely changed.
Casey, how can people view your episodes?
So you can see them every Thursday at 8 p.m. they air, but you can see them on YouTube all the time. You can go to the Rochester A-List YouTube page, and of course on social media at ROConnoisseur and Rochester A-List.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
I'm hungry, ready for something.
Let's go eat.
If you'd like to follow Casey and all of his food-filled adventures, be sure to visit his website, ROConnoisseur.com. There you can check out all his social media platforms that he just mentioned, and be sure to stay connected with all things Rochester by visiting RochesterA-List.com.